Okay, and we are live. Good afternoon,
Hello,
everyone.
Hillary.
Hello.
Okay, today we are going to talk about dealing with people that you meet, people that you love, people that you know, people who don't know you. Basically, how to get other people to react is not exactly the right word, how to respond to you in a nice way. And because we are marketing moms, Trinidad, we are in the marketing business. We are into getting people to increase their sales. So therefore, we have to work, and we have worked on being able to interact with people in such a way that they respond better to us. All right? And so therefore, today's topic, we're focusing a little bit on moms, and moms at the end, especially the working moms, working fathers as well. At the end of our working day, it is very difficult for them to now come home. Most days are stressful. Most days don't happen the way that you like it to happen. So they come home and they're already all bothered and miserable, and they have, remind me if I'm correct, Hillary, because this is you a couple months ago.
Yep.
They have dinner to cook, they have laundry to do, they have to clean up the children, clean up the house, maybe call mom and say, how are you doing, so that they don't think that you've forgotten them, you
Yeah.
know, a million and one things, and you yourself just want to be able to sit down. Have I explained it correctly?
Yes, and a whole lot more. So your level of patience is about this much, right? So that if
Exactly.
to deal with anything at that point in time, will you'd want to pull your hair out.
So all the tools and all the trying to get yourself in the right mindset in order to deal with the family, in order to be nice to your children when you just want to shake them up, right? That's what I'm going to share a little bit with us, with you today.
That's great. All right. And one thing that, as Bernie and I were discussing just before coming on here was that dealing with your children, or rather, we should say that what Bernie has realized is that dealing in the marketing business is actually been helping her even more with learning how to deal with her children. So from my perspective, it's like I'm coming from that environment where it was you're in work and you're dealing with people and work in a certain way. I just want to figure out how do I deal with those people so that when I get home, I don't have to deal with my family the same way that I was dealing with the work people, right? So what Bernie has noticed is that everything that you do with marketing and how you deal with people, a new lead, a stubborn recruit, you can actually apply it to your children. So we're going to learn about that today.
Excellent. Now, the one thing that you have to also know is that an adult is a little bit more difficult to deal with versus a child. A child is very simple. He will either tell you as it is, or if they themselves can't figure it out, they just don't say. But the thing with a child is that they will do or react or respond the same way every time. Okay, they will do it. Whatever you do, that's how they're going to react, because they haven't learned to mask their emotions. And that's what dealing with adults is more difficult in, is because, especially teenagers have no idea what's going on in their brain. They have no idea why they're reacting the way they're reacting, but they just react. So therefore, you as moms, you as fathers, have to know how to teach your child how to react, how to respond. Sorry, you want to teach your children how to respond versus reacting, because reacting is irrational behavior. Responding is actually knowing what you want to get out of the situation knowing the rules of interaction with people, and so therefore responding in a way that's going to have everybody in a better position at the end of the situation. All right. Now I did this topic, how to deal with a stubborn child, actually came up from a LinkedIn colleague of mine when I put up a post about something to do with stubborn children and how you have to love them. All right. And she asked me a question. She says, "Tell me more." So I was like, okay. Then I mean, it takes a while to explain all of this because it's years of experience and I'm still learning. Basically, the child or your person does not know, have not been in touch with that part that you are asking them to, let's say for instance, okay, let's take for instance, doing chores, all right? Now, you as a parent know that if everybody doesn't participate in doing chores, then everything falls on the mom. And that is just going to send us crazy. So that is not how you deal with a family. You've got to teach your children how to participate in chores. Now, because I do everything I do out of love and I don't get paid, you cannot pay your children to do chores, because when they get older and now the adult, they're the parent, who's paying them, right? So then they're going to say, well, nobody pays me, so I'm not going to do what I'm supposed to do. No, that's disaster, right? So what you do today is what your children are going to do in the future. So basically, I pay my children for mowing the lawn, because the concept is, if they don't mow the lawn, I don't have the time to mow the lawn, I'm going to have to hire somebody to mow the lawn. So why not give it to the child so they learn how to mow the lawn? So stuff like mowing the lawn, doing the laundry, well, not washing, ironing. I pay them for ironing. All right. So that's just an example. So now, let's say, for instance, dealing with teenagers, they don't want to do what you want them to do. And basically, if you've started training them as children to do chores, then it's a little easier to get them to listen to you as they get older. The biggest issue for dealing with a teenager is getting them to have conversations, getting them to tell you what's going on in their brain. So you're going to have to go around and around until you get them to reveal what it is that you're asking them to reveal. All right? Now, instead of asking them, how was your day? You have to do some homework, yes, and kind of open their books and know where they're supposed to be, say, in chemistry or Spanish, and bring up the topic that they're discussing in school that week. That's how you get them to, have a conversation. All right? When whatever the issue is that you and your teenage child constantly spark on, what you bicker about, the minute it starts happening, you need to back off and say, okay, I need a timeout. I need to think about this. I don't want to argue right now. And Love and Logic taught me this one. Says, I love you too much to argue with you right now, and walk away. You've got to walk away. And when your child is in a better mood and has been all calmed down, and you yourself all calmed down, you try to have a discussion about your expectations, and then you have the child explain to you what it is that they're expecting. Why is it that it's so difficult for them to do what you're asking them to do? So first of all, because they don't know what's going on in their head, you have to bring the topic up, right, where this is what I'm expecting, and this is the reason why. Okay, by the time they reach teenager, you can start explaining to them the reason why this rule is here and this rule is there, etc., etc. All right? Any questions on that, Hillary?
So, Bernie, I have a question specifically then for the moms who don't have teenage children, right? They're a little younger, or even the ones like myself who
Mhm.
can't speak back to you. How do you, as an individual, deal with the frustration of trying to communicate when you don't know whether the person on the other end, because they're just too young to understand, well, not too young to understand, but you don't understand whether they understand or not? How do you manage that? I'm sure the young mothers out there could relate. You know, you have a 2 year old, they call it the terrible twos. They're speaking minion, basically, and they're speaking minion with attitude. So you know they understand. um, how do you manage that so that in the same vein, how do you do that walking away so that you don't
Oh
lose?
yeah, but you can't walk away from your 2-year-old now. um, in a sense, there is a level of walking away. I haven't done it in a while, but I did have a little bit of experience this weekend, and it started, me cluing back as to what it is I used to do. Now, I was with my brother-in-law. We spent a weekend together, and he has a 6-year-old, no, a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and almost 2-year-old. And the one and only weapon a 2-year-old has is the scream. Do you agree? They scream.
Yes.
They don't know how else to react. They scream. All right. And it kind of took me whole weekend to remember how I used to deal with the scream. Now, first of all, it's the purpose. It's the ultimate purpose, and you have to any any situation in a family, any situation between a mom and a child, wife and husband, you have to start off with what is the goal I wish to achieve. All right. And for me, when a child screams, I don't want that. Okay. Because it is encouraging. Um, it's going to encourage temper tantrums. It's going to encourage, okay, every time I scream, I run to you to see what it is that you want. That is reinforcing the scream.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, in public, you cannot do anything. That's point blank. You cannot do anything about the scream in public, right? Now, take it to the extreme now. If your child is screaming in public, this is what I did. I picked up my child and we left. So if, for instance, we went to the mall or we went to the grocery or we went to the bank, okay, and now I did this with my first child and it worked, but it didn't work for the rest. All right? That's just how it is. Children, humans are different. Now, my first child threw a tantrum in the bank and she was about 2 years old. I did not get through with what I went to the bank for. I said, whispered in my child's ears, I says, I am leaving. And I walked out the bank. Now, of course, the bank is full of people, all right? And I'm standing outside the door, peeking in the glass, making sure she doesn't see me. Okay? Now, that is scary for a child. Absolutely scary for a child. Now, you have to understand as a parent, it's more scary for the child than for you. Okay? So you need to calm down and trust that once the child is in a safe zone, that it's going to teach a lesson. All right? Now, on other occasions, when I'm out, let's say 2 or 3 children are there now, and a fight breaks out, or somebody decides to behave badly, again, all man jack pick up, we go back to the car, and we go home. And when they're on the way home, this is what I say. Well, I mean, not that I actually planned it, but say, for instance, we were at the mall, I would say, Well, guys, I'm sorry to announce that we just lost the ice cream. And they're like, what? You know, well, you know, you guys didn't behave, so I couldn't reward you. But the ice cream I was thinking of giving you. Now, obviously, I wasn't thinking of it yet, but they don't know that. All
Right.
right. So now I'll take the scenario home. Okay. This is where you do the teaching. The teaching happens at home, not in public. What happens in public is you need to stay calm. You need to just grab up everybody, take them home. That's where you're going to deal with it. All right? So at home, when the child screams, you go up to her very calmly, go up to Olivia and say, Olivia, now mind you, they do understand, okay? So it's a matter of you, the parent, repeating, 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 because their response is going to be the same, okay? Olivia, is this what you want? And if she says no, or she screams louder, says Olivia, I am going to talk to you when you stop screaming. And if she refuses to stop screaming, you walk away. And yes, daddy's going to get in the way and say, Mom, why don't you give it to her? And I'm like, nope, I'm not giving it to her. All right? Now, the thing is, children are going to learn how to go between dad and mom. They're going to use mom and dad. Okay? So, if dad keeps stepping into your discipline, into your controlling the scream, you have to take dad aside and talk to him. All right? This is the plan, my dear husband. This is the plan to get our Olivia to stop screaming. All right? Because it's the only voice that they have. All right? Now, take it for instance for when I have a baby and the baby is screaming, and I have 2 older children or 3 older children, and they're causing the baby to scream. Okay? You have to pull the children aside. And the big thing about disciplining children, I mean, I haven't perfected it, and I do have many older ones, is that when you're disciplining one child, you have to pull that child aside and discipline that child. Whisper in their ears what it is went wrong in the situation and why the situation got crazy. All right? And then you go to the next child and whisper in their ears and tell them how they instigated whatever they instigated. And in the end, what you want to do is that each child owns their part in the fight, in the scream, in the causing baby to scream. Each child has to own their part, and they will, I mean, it happens over time. Some children take 3, 5, 10, 20 years to figure this out. Each child has to own their part, and each child has to say sorry. That's the ultimate, what you want them to do. You want them to be able to love each other at the end of the day.
It's interesting because I remember exactly what you described there. I remember getting that training when I was an RE, when they were doing conflict management, teaching us how to do conflict management between roommates. So it's interesting how you could apply it there. But
applies in adults, yeah?
Yeah.
What is RE?
Resident advisor, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Yes, because you being in charge of a floor, you need to know how to settle battles.
Battles, yes.
Correct. So
it all applies.
It's not too far.
Yeah.
Not too far. What you do have to understand, it's the maturity of the person you're dealing with. And mind you, some adults are 20, 35 years old and they still behave like a child, so then you have to treat them like a child. You know, some children are very mature, so then you have to treat them like a mature adult.
All right.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think that's
great. Now the points, already a couple of the points I wanted to bring across today. This is what you call a compound effect in good parenting, in having a peaceful home. Even though there are like 20 quarrels every day, you do need and you can have a peaceful home, all right, or working towards a peaceful home. At the end of every day, you're going to write down at least one nice thing that you love about the person that you fought with that day. So it could be a coworker, it could be a spouse, it could be a child. All right? So at the end of every day, you're going to write down one nice thing, one beautiful thing you saw in that person that day. All right? And then I mentioned this one about the minute you see an argument coming on, if it's a repeat argument, it's a repeat quarrel, you basically, instead of telling the person that you're arguing with what to do, you actually do the action. You walk away from the situation. Because when people are quarreling, be it adult, child, adult, and adult, it's the same thing. All right? For children, when you want them to see a point of view, or even your prospects and your customers that you want them to buy from you, you simply say, may I suggest? Because you don't want to come across as being the forceful person. When you force an idea or you force something on somebody, they're not going to take it. They're going to refuse it. All right? And this fourth point is works on, for instance, I'm going to give you a classic example. When it's time for us to leave the house, and my youngest children, because my youngest child, because that's the stage he's at right now, doesn't want to put on a particular shoes, and I'm telling him that his Crocs is not good enough to step out to where we're going. I don't want him wearing Crocs, and he doesn't want to put on his socks because he doesn't have the right color socks. I basically tell him, okay, you fix this situation, you do what you have to do, and you have 5 seconds to do it. And you start counting. And if you don't do it, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, so he has 5 seconds to react, to respond in the way that he needs to respond. Especially when time is an issue that you need to go now, you're late for something. That's when children always tend to
drag their feet.
Yeah?
Yes. All right. Well, those are some excellent points, and I mean, it's as I wrote in the blog recently about this, just to prepare for this. It's so amazing how we could see those connections between raising your children and dealing with people in the business world. The connections are really there. So.
Yep. Just gotta know that the adult has more layers of onion.
Layers, yes. Adults have more layers, but you can still break them down.
You can peel back the onions, but that's for another webinar.
So, guys, everyone, this has been Marketing Moms Trinidad, and just to give you a heads up as to what we'll be doing next week, keeping on the themes of moms, but we're kind of bridging. We're starting to do a little bridging here. You probably want to know, what you'd find out is basically how a mom can go to the mall. Sorry, I'm saying mom so many times. How a mom can go to the mall for a car seat and leave with $500 of accessories. And that bridging of the concept is actually how we are going to introduce to you a concept that we as marketing professionals are learning and grasping. And that's the concept of a sales funnel. And it's interesting how right here in our physical world, we experience a sales funnel every day. And there are many people out there who are challenged with trying to convert that from the offline world into the online world. So we're going to break it down for you with a very simple example that you probably all experienced. You went to get a book and you left with a library. You went to the grocery to get milk and you left with the entire aisle 8. Just just some examples, but that's what we're going to be touching on next week. So,
and how they can do it in their business.
Yes, and how you could convert that to your business so that you could be the one collecting that extra $500.
Exactly, because we marketing moms want to get you, other businesswomen, other moms at home, um, creating income from a side project of and working at home, just like Hillary and I.
Yep.
All right, I think that's a wrap.
Yep, that's a wrap. Thanks. I'll see you again. Next week, actually, we will be moving. Which wouldn't be on Thursday. We'll actually be moving to Monday, February 9th, 1 p.m. So you'll get those invitations coming to you, but we will be moving to a Monday time slot, 1 p.m.
1 p.m. AST, GMT -4.
Yes, GM
So, marketing moms, buzzing
Trinidad.
off for today, Thursday, with helping moms to deal with stubborn children, helping other marketers know how to deal with a non-responsive or non-moving prospect. All right, without conflict. Have a great day.
Have a great
Bye
day.
now.
Bye.